Have you ever wished that you could create eye-catching thumbnails just like the big YouTube creators without having to become a Photoshop ninja or spend a ridiculous amount of money on hiring designers? Well, good news, in this video I'm going to show you 5 simple design hacks that anyone, even the most artistically challenged, can follow to create pro-level YouTube thumbnails in a matter of minutes. And I'm going to show you everything from start to finish. Let's dive in. So let's start with Ali Abdaals, who's perhaps one of the most successful YouTube creators out there. With over 6 million subscribers and a 7-figure business built off the back of YouTube, it's fair to say Ali knows exactly what he's doing, and that is true for his thumbnails too. Now, Ali probably has a team of people that are working on his YouTube thumbnails, but the good news is you don't need to. Now, I'm going to show you how to improve your own thumbnails using a few easy tricks in Canva. So let's dive straight in. Even if you're a beginner and you've not got much design skills, this is going to be suitable for you. So let's dive in and take a look. Let's start with the quickest and easiest Canva trick, which is grids and layouts. And if this seems easy, don't worry. We're going to build on these tricks stage by stage, so you've got everything you need by the end to create great thumbnails in Canva. Now, whilst many of Ali's thumbnails are one big photo, Ali also uses these 2 and 3 photo splits, especially when showing transformation like a before and after photo like you can see on the screen now. Now, as you can see, I've already got a Canva document open because I want to show you some examples as we're going through this. But to create a new YouTube thumbnail, you just go to the home page once you're logged in, and it's as simple as just clicking on YouTube thumbnail there and creating a new template. Or if you don't have this shortcut here, you can either go to the top where you've got this search bar, or you can go to the side where it says templates, and you can just type in YouTube thumbnail. And what that will do is that will give you tons of different examples. Now, you've got all of these that you can actually adapt. Canva is actually superb for most graphic design, but I would just create a blank YouTube thumbnail. Now, I'm just going to dive back to my document because I want to work on this within the document. I want to show you exactly what we're doing. So this is the grid. Now, this is really, really simple. Let me show you. So we'll just go down to this blank one. So on the left-hand side, we're going to click on this Elements button. Now, this is really useful for finding anything to do with images, graphics, that kind of thing. But if we scroll down, the thing we're looking for in this case is one called Grids. And we're just going to click on See All. Now, if you think of this like a photo album, it's where you can just lay out different photos in different grid systems, if you like. Now, I'm just going to choose this one here, so it's a side-by-side. So in here somewhere, there'll be a 3. In fact, it's there. But this is the 2-way kind of transformation thumbnail, if you like. And if I just scroll up and show you the ones Ali uses, you can see this a kind of common theme on there. So generally, it'll do a before and after. The before side will be dull, it'll be almost upset, sad. After, it'll have a big beaming smile, and it'll be much more colourful and bright, and it's just showing that transformation. He uses this quite a lot, and I'll show you how easy this is. So I'm just going to go to Uploads on the left-hand side. Now, what you need to do is you want to put some photos of yourself on here. So just click on Upload Files, find the files on your computer and just upload them into Canva. Now, we've got that before and after. Now, the before is always some sad, miserable looking thing. So let's find, there you go, that'll do. So once I click on that picture, if I then click and drag, it will drop it. See how it's jumping between the two? It will drop it into that grid. So that's almost like framed now on that side. And then let me get an over-the-top cheesy smiling one for the other side. And if I click and then drag it, there you go, we've got before and after. Ideally, if you've got the time, try and change your costume or change the environment and make it look more kind of down. But what we can also do is we can do a couple of little tricks in here as well. So I'm just going to click on this left-hand side and I'm going to click on Edit. And then I want to click on this Adjust part here. As you saw from the ones of Ali's, you see how these are kind of less colourful, greyer, almost, I don't know, they just look like rubbish photos. So we're going to do the same with this. So once we're on Adjust, you can work through these settings, and these are like normal photo settings. So let's just turn the temperature down. Let's make it kind of colder looking, a bit bleaker. Change the tint and play around with these, get them exactly how you want them. We can change the contrast, just to make it look duller. Again, highlights, shadows we can turn off a little bit, and I think it just takes that pop out a little bit. Vibrance, saturation, there you go. See how it's already looking almost black and white and kind of miserable. There's loads of things we can change. You can even turn the clarity down. You can put a vignette on if you want, just to put some like dark corners in. So you can just make it look a lot gloomier just by doing that. Now, one useful thing in Canva is if you look at the top here, you've got this foreground and background. So if you click on background, Canva is really clever. It will actually identify what it thinks is in the background, and you can do that same adjustment, but just for what's in the background or just for what's in the foreground, depending on which one you clicked on. So if we want to make that background even kind of duller, if you like, then we can kind of play around, and this is only going to change the background. But there you go, very basic adjustments. And then this one has kind of come out already a little bit of the opposite way, if you like, but it's exactly the same process. Click on edit, click on adjust, and then go through, and if you need to make this one warmer, I mean, I don't want to be kind of too warm there. If you want to change the contrast, make it pop a little bit more, just make it bolder. I mean, it's a woeful picture of me anyway, but we'll go with it. So you can see what I mean. It's basically just having that one looking grim, one looking it's kind of bold and pops out. Now, if you need to make this bigger, if you just double click on the image, you'll get this kind of extended box pop up, and you can click on these corner bits and just drag it a little bit. So there you go. You can make that kind of even more prominent, and then just click off it again, and it'll save. Now, the only other thing that he does, I mean, if we really want, actually, do you know what? I'm going to show you how to do that again. Double click on it again and just drag it down slightly, because I just missed something that I'm going to show you. And I'm just going to make that smaller again so that you've got my thumb in and I can look full weirdo. On the same one on this one, we're just going to click and I'm just going to drag it down slightly because I missed quite an important part there. He tends to write before and after, so if it isn't obvious already, he tells you. That is super simple. Click on text on the left-hand side, and then you can click on any of these heading, subheading, body. Let's use heading, and let's just type in before. And I'm just going to click and drag. That's why I moved it down, just so you could get the words in above my head. And he tends to use white, and he has like a drop shadow on that. So once we've got our text, simple enough, click on this color, change it to white, and then because you want that to just pop out a little bit, we're also going to click on effects, and it looks like he uses a shadow. So if we click on shadow, and we're going to change that color to black, and we're just going to take that transparency off so it's a bit bolder, and we're just going to change the direction slightly, which is like the direction of the shadow. Now you can do what you want with that. You can kind of make it kind of stand off it more. You can put it more blurry. It's up to you. There's also different types of effects you can use. One I like to use is this lift. So if you see lift, it kind of just puts like a more general shadow around all of it. But let's do what Ali does. Let's reset it. 2 seconds. Let's do what Ali does, and let's just do it very similar to how he does it. So that bit's done. And then I'm just going to click on this and then copy it and then paste it on this side. Change it to after, and I think he uses a yellow color, so let's just put that in yellow. Go for a bit of a brighter yellow. So very quickly, that is how he does his before and afters. So you've just learned how to add text, how to change the adjustment of the photos, and how to manipulate it so you've got these kind of transformative pictures, if you like, and how to resize it as well. Next up, we're going to look at the background. Now, chances are, if you're just getting started, you probably don't have the fancy studio setup and all of the pro-level lighting, the fancy camera, the £1,000 worth of artificial flowers that everyone puts in the background. Well, you don't have to. I'm going to show you how you can fake it till you make it with all of this as well. Now, you'll see there's a few common things that Ali always has in the background. He usually has some different lighting. So you've got like a blue tone, a little bit of a warm tone in this one, a blue tone in this. You've got artificial plants. It's got a nice blur. You've this one, you've got again at the corner of it's blue, and it's a warmer kind of orangey color this side. So he adds depth through different lighting, if you like, and also a little bit of blur so that it separates him and the background. Now, Ali may have took all of them shots with an actual nice camera, with a nice lens, and blurred that background out, but you don't have to do that, and I'm going to show you. So let's just go down to this template, and we're just going to dive over to photos on the side. Now I'm just going to type in study room because I want to find a decent one that we can use for the background. and you can start looking at the options here. So you have to play around with this and see what's kind of best and what works for you. But let's try and find a nice one that'll look good. Now I'm going to go with this one. So if we just click on it, it'll add it to our image. Now I'm going to just kind of make this a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to click and reposition it. Then I'm going to click in the corner on that circle and I'm just going to drag it down here and expand it. And again, I'm just going to click and drag it so it covers the entirety of our background now. Now there's a couple of things I'm going to show you which will add to this effect, and all of a sudden at the moment that doesn't look a great background because it's too good a photo, there's too much detail in there. Well, watch this. We're going to click on edit and then you've got effects here, effects, and you've got blur. Now what we can do is you can blur things out individually, or we can select the whole image and we can add a blur. I'm going to go with that, so 34. Play around with it again, make it, get it to how you prefer it. That now looks more of a legit background. And you're probably thinking, well, where's the colour? Where's all the artificial plants? I think there was a plant on the side and we cut it off. Again, not to worry, let's find a plant. Let's go with this one. I have no idea what plant this is, and again, it does look a bit ridiculous. I'm going to resize it. I'm going to pop that over there, and let's find another one that we can put. You'll notice that some of these are kind of images on their own and some have got a background. If you just want ones that are cut out, if you click on this filter, you've got cutouts only. Now let's go with this one maybe. Now I have no idea if this is a tiny plant or a massive plant. I don't know a lot about plants to be honest, but it's just for background. So I'm going to put it there. We're going to click on edit. We're going to add our blur. And then go back and we're going to do exactly the same with this one. We're going to add our blur, do it about 30, 40%, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so there's our background plants. Now, we want some of that blue light as well, don't we? So Ali does this blue light a lot. Now, that is probably an actual light that he's got, but let's see if we can replicate that. Let's have a look if we can have a look in, photos. You can actually go in photos, or elements might find you the same things as well. But let's use photos. Right, I'm going to take this cutouts part off. I'm going to try and find a lamp. And I like that one. I want one of these longer ones. So we'll go with that. We'll make that bigger. Kind of in the way. Let's click and move this, and let's put our lamp over here. So I'm going to put that there. This plant, I'm just going to, let's leave it there for now. And again, let's add some blur to this lamp. And then if we go to elements, search elements, we want to find some glow. So I'm just going to use blue glow. Now it's these graphics that we want. So if we click on see all, you can see there's all different types of glow here. I'm going to use this one. So we're going to drag that, and this is just to add some depth, some colour. We're going to drag it, make it bigger, and then just move it around a little bit so that we kind of think that it goes in the right position. Now I'm just going to go with that. Like I say, if you look at what Ali creates, he just does it to add depth. But there you go, he's got a lamp there and he's got some blue. Now it's not perfect by any means, but it just adds a little bit of depth. Now if that's too bright, you just want to tone that down a bit, you can use this transparency. And you can just position it how you want it, just to add that little bit of kind of depth and colour. Again, the bigger we make it, the more it'll like drag it out, if you like. So let's go with that, and let's move our plant back as well. We can put it behind. It's not really going to matter, it's in the background. And this works for any colour really. If we put orange glow in, again, you've got different ones here, but we could add a little bit more orange there. If you wanted to put that almost behind the plant, if you like, if you go to position with the orange selected, you go position and backwards, and there you go. See how it's gone behind? Well, let's see what it looks like if the blue is behind the light. I don't think that'll really work, but let's try it. Oh, it's not too bad, but it looks like it's coming from elsewhere. So I'm just going to change that and bring it forward again. So now we've got that background. The missing part on here is us. So let's go back to uploads. Let's find our beautiful faces. Let's go with this one. Now you can see that does not work. That's just a terrible photo in the middle of our fake background. But If you've got the Pro version, you're going to have this, which is one of the most useful parts of Canva, this BG remover. Click on that. How easy was that it just took the background out? If you don't have the Pro version, most cameras these days will let you remove the background, or there are other websites that you can use as well. So the next trick we're going to do is, first of all, expand this, make it so it kind of looks better in the scene. So again, we're just going to click, drag it, and I'm just going to go with that. And then we're going to edit it. Any adjustments that you want to make, if you just want to add a little bit of contrast, again, it's exactly the same as we did before. Contrast, saturation, sharpness, anything you want to change, you can do in that adjustment layer. But also, see this shadows button? If you click on edit and then effects and shadows, I like adding this little glow around things. You can either add the glow or you can add the drop. Probably go with a drop actually. It just adds this little bit of shadow around the edge. Again, you can increase the blur, you can increase the angle. Distance, I'd probably put it closer, just so it's a little bit more subtle. So let's go with that. And again, the intensity, if you want it to be kind of darker or lighter, I'd probably just go with where it's at the moment. Hopefully you can see, and I know that wasn't perfect, but you can see we've got the basis of something we can use here. We didn't need the fancy studio. I know Ali has already got everything set up perfectly. We've added in the blur. We've added in the colour, we've added in things that didn't exist, like the plant and the lamp. It's just a case of kind of then fine-tuning that and getting it exactly as you want it. But what I'm saying is you can manipulate and manufacture these backgrounds just by using that blur option and just a little bit of clever kind of manipulation and pushing things around. So don't worry if you don't have the perfect studio. Okay, we're going to speed up through these now and I'm going to show you the layer effects. Now, I've just showed you how to manufacture a background, but what if you had a picture that was already good and you didn't want a fake background, you were happy with a background you already had, but you want to add some depth? Well, I'm going to show you how to do this. You see how Ali has put this green arrow behind his head? He's put these numbers behind his head and he's put like a shadow on it. Again, these boxes are all behind him and it just adds different layers and depth to that picture. So going back to our last one, this would be really easy. And I'm just going to pick anything. I'm just going to pick this arrow and just spin it around slightly. Using this rotate button. So just as a very quick example, you see there, that's on top of my head. Let's put it in bright green like he does. Now, because we manufactured this before and I was cut out, it's easy. You just go to position and you just send it backwards and you just kind of layer it like that. And that's all that Ali does, whether he's using these white boxes, whether he's using numbers, or whether he's using arrows. It's a really simple technique. Now, where it's a problem is if you haven't manufactured that background and you've already got a photo that you like. So I've just added this one in. Again, I make no apologies. This is an awful picture of me, unshaven, needing a haircut and looking like the world was about to end. But go with it. So all we're going to do is I'm just going to right click and we're just going to duplicate that image. So you can see if I click and drag, we've got two of that image now. Now I'll just roughly line them up. Now the trick here is, again, we're going to use the background remover. So let's just click that. It'll whiz through and that will then take the background off. Now if I move that now, you can see double trouble, there's two of me. So there's a little bit of trial and error here. You've got to kind of move it around and position it so that it's on top of the other kind of version, if you like. Now, I've positioned that there now, so there's actually two of me in that image, if that makes any sense. And what we're going to do is let's just go back over here. Let's find ourselves a nice little arrow. Let's use this one. I don't like that, it's massive. Let's use a different one. Again, not mad keen on that, but we'll be here all day if we let my OCD take control. So let's just make that massive. Let's turn it bright green and you can see it's on top of my head. And if we go to position, it's going to go back behind that one that we just created. But the rest of the picture will remain intact. Does that make sense? If we just delete the arrow, I'll do it with text as well. So Ali loves using these either numbers where he's showing how much money he's made. He's gone from this to this and he's got his little points. Or he uses these ones where he talks about the year. So you've got 2025 there. So let's just type in 2025 and you can increase the font using this number size up here, but I like to just drag it. So let's drag that so it's almost covering the entire width. Click off and click on it again. I'm just going to click and position it. Again, I'm going to drag it a little bit further. And let's turn that white. And you remember before when I showed you the effects, and you can either add that shadow in, but let's add that lift, and it just kind of gives it a little bit of a glow, if you like, and a bit of separation. And then we're going to go to position, and we're going to send it backwards. And if you ever make a mistake, it's easy enough just to send it to the front or send it to the back. It's up to you. It's really easy to kind of move things around once you get the hang of it. And there you go. So for argument's sake, let's say that background is just too bright and it doesn't show enough kind of separation. What we can do is if we click on elements, and we're just going to choose shapes, and I'm just going to get this square. I'm going to drag it over into the corner so it's overlapping the canvas. I'm going to drag it to make it bigger, and I'm going to take it that way as well. I'm going to turn it black, and then I'm going to position it backwards. So there's me. There's the 2025. So we know that is now sat in front of that background image. And I'm just going to go to transparency, and I'm just going to play around with that. So there you go. Let's say we're happy with that. That is how we add different things behind the person. So whether it's text, whether it's arrows, whether it's these little boxes that Ali likes to create, that is exactly how you add these layers and depth using Canva. Really, really easy. On that same note, you'll notice Ali a lot of the time uses these boxes. He uses them with icons, he uses them with numbers. Again, everything that I've just shown you is exactly how you would create these. But there is a little caveat that I'm going to show you. So let's just dive into another picture. I'm just going to use the one that we've just created, but I'm going to get rid of the text, and we can keep the background, the darker effect. Now, what we want to do is, it's very similar, but if we go to elements, shapes, and just drag that back onto the correct one. What I'll do, I'll try and just leave it open a little bit here so you can see both the one we're working on and Ali's. So I just chose that shape there with the beveled corners, but I mean, what you can do is you could just choose square, and then up here on the menu, you've got corner rounding. So if you want to make it rounder and turn it into a circle, this is just adjusts how much you bevel them corners. Again, click on it, and you've got the colors here. So you can see Ali normally has them in white. So if you have a look at all of these, on this one, he's got a little red cross. On this one, he's got almost a fake avatar. This one, he's got a up or a down or an up arrow. All really simple. So you go to elements, and let's just say we want a up icon. Click on graphics. Yep, so you'll be able to find them in here. Like I say, these absolutely thousands of different icons and graphics and photos. But let's go with this one. So we're going to drag that across, minimize it to make it smaller. You can change the size. As you're dragging things, do you see how you get this little purple line or red line, whatever it is, purple? That's just to show you that it's centered on that white box. So if you're trying to adjust things and get them perfectly centered, use them lines. They're really good indicators. Now, let's say we want that green to be brighter. If you look at the colors at the top, you've got the color there for the green. Let's go for that garish one, and you can change the white if you want as well. So there you go, really simple. And then all he's done there with the numbers is he's just put some text on. So again, let's quickly just put an example. So he's put 503K. Oops. When you're dealing with text, you've got other options up here. So one thing that you might want to do is change the spacing. So if you click on this little icon here, and then you've got line spacing if you add multiple lines, or letter spacing, maybe shove that together so it's a little bit more condensed. And then again, just expand it. And then very quickly, we'll just type subscribers. Now, I think I've got a pretty close match there with the fonts that he uses. But if you wanted to change the font, again, at the top, I've got Poppins Medium. There are absolutely tons and tons and tons and tons of different fonts. So if you've got your own style that you prefer to use, no doubt it will be in there somewhere. Now, the only thing we're missing there is, well, we're missing the arrow in the other box, but I don't want to show you how to do absolutely everything. It's just replication. It's just replication of what we've already done. But do you see how it's got this, most of the things he creates, you've got this drop shadow. Now, Canva, unfortunately, doesn't give you that option that we used before. So when you try and edit a shape, you don't get that same option where you can just add a shadow in. But there's a way we can get around this by cheating. So we're going to go to Elements. We're just going to type in drop shadow. And you'll see it gives us all of these different types of shadows. Now, as we've already created a rectangular shape, it's easy enough. We'll click on this one. We will resize it. And I know that looks messy at the moment. But then what we're going to do is use them layers. We're going to position that backwards, drop it behind, and you can resize it a bit more so it doesn't look too much. And depending on what shapes you've added, you'll find different ones in them elements. So don't worry too much. Again, that stands out quite a lot. So if we go to transparency and just tone it down completely, and then you should be able to see, it doesn't help that I've got a picture in the background there. We should be able to see now it's got a very subtle drop shadow there. So you can now build your image up exactly like Ali does in these. You can add icons. Again, go to Elements. And let's say, what's that? Let's use that one, blindfold. And it'll give you these graphics. There you go. Let's use that person again. Sorry, put it on the wrong one. Drag it down. So if you didn't want text in there and you wanted to do it like he does with the graphics, you could just do that. And change the shape appropriately. If you need to resize it, resize it. Just remember to resize your drop shadow that you put in the background as well. So there you go, super easy. Now, one thing Ali does like to do, which is a little bit different to his usual ones, is he loves these desktop ones, often when he's talking about books, but also when he's kind of doing listicle videos where he's going to show things that changed his life. Now, you might think that this is just a case of having a really nice desk and some nice things on it and taking a picture. It's actually far easier than that. Ali is not sat there trying to do latte art. I'll show you how to do this really easily. Again, we're going to go to Photos. This time, we're going to look for a desk. And you'll see there's tons of kind of top-down desk images, if you like. So let's use... there's a bit too much going on in that one, so let's use this one. Reposition it. Expand it. Get it exactly as you want it. I'm just going to move that down slightly because I quite like a bit more of that plant showing. And again, the objects that Ali uses, he's got glasses, a pen, some latte there, a banana, a weights, and a journal. So let's see if we can find a journal. So again, we're on Photos. I'm just going to search for journal. But what I'm going to do is I don't want these ones with the backgrounds in. I want to just do cutouts. Let's see if we've got any that we can use with a cutout. That one will do. And let's pop that up there. Perfect. Glasses. Let's go with that one. Mess around till you get the right scale, but I mean, that looks quite small for a pair of glasses. Again, we can pop them there. And I wonder if there's any coffee. Coffee? There you go. That could even be the one that Ali's actually used. So let's put that down here. That. I'm going to put the glasses on top of the laptop. You play around with this, you get it exactly how you want it to look. And most of them, if you wanted to add the shadow, if you click on Edit, click on Shadow, put a little drop shadow on. I would put that quite blurry. It's a bit too perfect, if you like. I would also take the distance off a little bit and turn the intensity down. But you get the idea. Now, there's one other thing. I'm going to move this coffee up here because there's one other thing you can do. Make that journal smaller. Let's make some room. I want to show you this because this is pretty useful. See how he does a lot of these based on books? And you think, well, I use a Kindle. I don't have the physical book. Well, watch this. I'll show you a way around this that'll actually really help you. We might have to get rid of some of these because I've made it a bit too cluttered. What we're going to do is we're just going to go to Apps. And I'm just going to type in Mockup. I'm going to choose this one here. Now a mock-up is when you put an image on an object. Now you can see here some of the examples. So you've got phones, t-shirts, mugs, this kind of thing. It's so that you can see what an image looks like on something without actually making that thing. But if we go to print, I'm going to go with this one just because it's flatter for now. So we'll use this ring binder one, and I'm just going to drag that. Let's make it that big. Again, you have to play around with these, get the right desk shot, get the right layout. So this part's really easy. Just go to Amazon or just Google the book that you want to add and then upload the image for that book. You can just save the photo to your computer and then upload it. And then if we just go to uploads, I'll find one that I made earlier. We'll use this Atomic Habits. Great book if you've not read it. And then we're just going to drag and drop that on top of this. Now, it's kind of cropped it a little bit, so what you might need to do is just click on Edit and maybe just pull it in a little bit so that it actually fits nicer. So you can kind of do this on the left-hand side and then just apply images. Or you can change the size of the actual ring binder, book, whatever it is. Play around with it, get it to look exactly how you want it to look. That'll do for now, because I just want you to get the idea. And the only other thing I'm going to show you is, do you see how he likes to use these post-it notes? So very, very quickly, let's get rid of that journal. And on the left-hand side, go to Elements, Post-it note. And I want a photo, I think. Yeah, that one's better. And let's go with this one. So again, it's like a cut-out post-it note. We'll go with that. Let's turn it slightly so it looks a little bit more slapdash. And text. Then we're just going to add some text, and I'm just going to write, I don't know, what does he write in his? Book club. Slow down. Book club. Now, as you can see, that looks terrible. It doesn't look anything like what Ali does. But if we change the font here, you've got handwriting fonts. So I'll just find one that I've probably used previously. Let's try that one. There you go. And again, you can change the color. You can make it a bit grayer if you like. You can change the size. I told you before about changing the spacing. Let's just change the spacing on that so it looks a bit more handwritten. There you go. So there's his post-it note. You can write whatever you want. You can add your books. You can add your objects. You can make it look exactly how you want, depending on what the topic of your video is about. And they're just some neat little tricks that he does. If you want more videos like this, then subscribe and I'll see you next time.